A man was caught trying to board a plane with his dead wife. A Chinese man was hospitalized after putting a live leech into his body. And Japanese people aren't having any sex, and nobody knows why. These are the weird stories for Weird AF News, your only daily weird news podcast. I'm the host, Jonesy. I have 3 bizarre stories for you, aka news. Here we go. A man was caught trying to board a plane with his dead wife in tow. This man is 80 years old. He's been through some stuff. He was just arrested after trying to board a plane with his wife, as he claimed that she died just hours before they were due to fly. Well, it's good that they caught him before he got on the plane. I did a story recently about someone who brought someone onto the plane, and I couldn't understand how they got through security with a dead person. So this guy was intercepted on the way to bringing his wife onto the plane, which is a good thing, because you don't want the deceased flying in the cabin with the rest of the passengers. And then it becomes a challenge for the husband to pull it off, too. I mean, kudos for him for trying, but it gets to the point where, like, how are you going to make that happen? You're just going to tell the flight attendant that, hey, well, I love a pillow. Also, please don't disturb my wife. She needs her sleep right now. She's dead tired. No, he was actually caught before he could pull off his Weekend at Bernadette's on the plane. Weekend at Bernadette's? Do you like how I did that? Because Weekend at Bernie's is the movie about the dead guy being brought around, but I changed it to Bernadette because it's a wife. I mean, this is what you get on Weird AF News, right? We're talking about some, brilliant comedy here. Not really. All right, let's read what happened. This man was stopped by the security guards at Tenerife, I don't know how you say this, Tenerife South Airport when staff became suspicious of the wife. Staff realized that his wife, who was in a wheelchair at the time, was not reacting at all to anything and had a body temperature that was reportedly too low. Were they still taking temperatures of the passengers like when it was COVID? Do you guys remember that? They had a little gun. Everyone was just shooting it into our brains. Everywhere I went, you want to come in here to the store? I need to shoot you in the brain with this. Well, apparently they took this lady's temperature and it was way too low. That's a flag. The incident occurred at the access to the metal detectors in security. No one suspected anything until a security guard detected that the woman was not reacting. Not reacting to what? Is there a video of this? I want to know what she wasn't reacting to. Just questions. Just like, hey, ma'am, do you have a laptop? Please take that out. Could you take your shoes off, ma'am? Ma'am, could you do the hokey pokey and turn yourself about? Ma'am, why are you staring at the ceiling? There's nothing up there. Hello? That's when the husband steps in and tries to pull a fast one. Oh, no, my wife. She's resting right now. She's having a sugar crash at the moment because she just ate a Twinkie. Now, it says when the security realized the woman wasn't reacting and they suspected she was deceased, they arrested the man for questioning. He's so old, though, he could just play it off like he didn't know. I mean, when you're 80 plus, you could just go, I don't know. This might be the only perk of being 80 plus is you could play it off like you just forgot how life works. You just start shoplifting from your favorite stores. Sir, you can't leave with that. Oh, I didn't know. I forgot you couldn't leave with that. I'm old. I forgot the rules. I'm so old. What? You say my wife is dead? I don't know she's dead. I just, she's just a quiet person mostly, Yeah, I touched her. She felt cold, but she's always cold. My wife is very frigid. All right, now we have here a play-by-play of how it went down as well. Do I even need to read this? I kind of said it up top, but, well, for those of you who can't use your imagination very well, it says, the husband was pushing the wheelchair in which his wife was. At first glance, they look like an elderly couple about to embark. However, after passing through the portico, I believe, is some kind of wine, so they were passing through the wine to get on the plane. Some airlines let you pass through wine as you board the plane. The guard realized that something was not right. The guard approached the woman and the man gave her the wheelchair. When he took her hand, she noticed that she had an abnormally low temperature and was not breathing. The worker immediately notified the supervisor. In a few minutes, the emergency protocol was activated and numerous security agents, members of the civil guard, and forensic personnel went to the scene immediately. And according to the husband's first statements, he claimed his wife died a few hours earlier inside the airport. Wow, in the airport? So right there? I mean, I don't know if you can believe him, but imagine if that happened in the airport. That's pretty wild. You're waiting for your plane. Oh, no. That's no good. Honestly, I don't know what I would do either. Would I just try and board the plane with my dead spouse? I mean, when you start to think about the fees involved, if you actually told the truth, I mean, it's way more expensive to travel underneath the cabin than inside the cabin, I've learned. So I don't know. I've never been in that position, but I might consider, depending on my financial situation, whether or not to attempt the weekend at Bernadette's. Anybody know that song? All right, moving on. Some employees reportedly claim that the man tried to attribute responsibility for the death to the airport facilities. That claim is now reportedly being investigated. It has been confirmed that the man was arrested and is now cooperating with the authorities. And beep, 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 that's all, folks. A Chinese man has been hospitalized after putting a live leech into his own body. Okay, I got questions that I'm not sure I want answers to. All right. We have here a 23-year-old man from Zhengzhou in China's Henan province. He found himself in a silly emergency surgery situation because he inserted a live leech into his body. He believed it would deliver some health benefits. I mean, the guy is out of his gourd. Everybody knows you just put the leech on your back and you let it do its thing if you want health benefits. I mean, we've known that since the 1700s, right? Especially if it's an insane person. An insane person, you want to put leeches all over their back because it sucks out the demons. Obviously, I'm kidding about all of that. They did used to do the leeches on the back, though, if they thought you needed the demons sucked out of you. The whole, insert a leech into your body, that's, the Chinese just take things and run with it, especially when it comes to sea creatures. I'm not sure why. Do you remember the dude who stuck the live eel into his rectum a few years ago for supposed medical benefits? And they do some weird stuff with turtles, I have to say. One could make the argument, though, that it's a little stranger in India because they like to do stuff with cow dung. I don't know what the deal is with cow dung. They think it's like magical. It's a magical dung that cures everything. They got a very strange fetish with cows over there. I don't understand it. Back to the story here. According to the local reports, this man, identified only as Zhang, so Zhang from Zhengzhou, he bought the leech online. You can buy leeches online? Who knew you could buy leeches online? I thought you had to go scuba diving into the deep sea and rip them off the ass of a shark. So he bought these leech, Zhang did, after reading a folk remedy that was circulating on the internet. Oh, you guys know, you don't follow those folk remedies circulating on the internet. I mean, who knows where they came from? This is how you get people drinking bleach. The treatment that he found online claimed that, get this, inserting a leech into your person would bring a, quote, special effect, though no medical evidence supports the idea. What was that special effect? It doesn't even say what it was. I'm so curious. The special effect is that you die shortly after. That's one hell of a special effect. It says after purchasing a 5-centimeter long leech, he inserted it through his urethra. Listen, I don't know a lot of medical terms, but I definitely know what a urethra is. Urethra. Did I say that right? Urethra. Yeah. I got one of those urethras. You don't want to be putting anything into the urethra. That's bad news, especially a live leech. I mean, this poor guy was. Is that what it really said? The folk cure was to shove a live leech in your pee hole, and then you, for whatever reason, you thought this is legit medical advice. I'm astonished, flabbergasted, and straight up befuddled. I mean, even if they had legit medical journals proving that this maneuver would cure something, I'm still not doing it. It says, instead of the health boost that he expected, he immediately suffered intense pain and struggled to urinate. Wow, struggled to urinate. That's a surprise side effect of shoving an animal in your pee hole. Who would have thought? Did they check Zhang's brain for worms as well? Because I think there's something wrong with him upstairs. According to the doctors, they discovered the leech had traveled, get this, through the urinary tract and made its way into his bladder. Once it's inside, it attached to the bladder wall and released anticoagulant substances, worsening the bleeding and the discomfort. This is a nightmare. Now, unable to cope with the pain, as you'd imagine, Zhang went to a local hospital where a medical staff, after they were done laughing at him, were stunned by what they found during the examination. Ultrasound scans confirmed the live leech was camping inside his bladder, set up a little tent, lit a fire. roasting some s'mores. You know how leeches behave in a major human organ. But don't worry, guys. A team led by a urology specialist performed a minimally invasive transurethral procedure to remove the leech. I'm sure the leech was pissed. The extraction was successful, thankfully, and Zheng's pain eased instantly. He was later able to urinate normally again. Yay! Now take away his phone.
Welcome back.
Japanese people aren't having sex, and nobody knows why. Young adults in Japan, it says, are having less and less sex these days. This is according to a recent study, and no one knows why. Well, have you tried maybe asking some of them? I don't know. That sounds like a crazy approach, but yeah, you could ask them why they're not having sex. I got some theories myself. As you guys know, I always have theories. You know, they're not any good usually, but they're theories nonetheless. Have you looked into the fact that they raised the price of condoms? Maybe that's why people aren't having as much sex in Japan. Perhaps they're, I don't know, overworked. Don't they work like 10-hour days? That's a lot. There's not much energy left to do anything after you work as much as a Japanese salaryman works. Maybe everybody in Japan's itchy right now. That could be a thing. I know when I'm itchy, I'm not interested in any sort of sexual relations because I'm always thinking about how itchy I am. Maybe it's just because everybody over there is ugly. That could be a thing. Everybody's ugly, who's going to have sex? You know, that could be it. Well, I mean, let's jump into the story and find out, though. I want to see some real data here. Now, according to this study, they estimate that around half of Japanese people reach their mid-20s with no sexual experience at all, and approximately 10% reach their 30s before having sex for the first time. Even those who have lost their virginity don't seem to be having much sex these days. Online surveys indicate that around half of Japanese adults aged 20 to 49 are sexually inactive, meaning they haven't had a sex partner in the past year. This stat is nearly doubled from the same survey prior to 2002. So in the past 25 years or so, looks like there's been quite an uptick on the Japanese not having sex. Well, I don't know. Have you seen their genitals? I have. I mean, a bunch of times, and they're very pixelated. How do you even have sex with that? What is that? I mean, how do you find the hole? Now, the researchers say this appears to be a global trend. Young adults in high-income countries all over the world seem to be having less sex. For example, a 2019 study reported that nearly a third of their UK respondents said they hadn't had sex in the previous month, compared with around a quarter in 2001. I also came across an article that says the sex recession, the share of Americans having regular sex keeps dropping every year, apparently. Less and less sex going on. I mean, I bring this up to say that I'm not sure it's a regional thing. I think it's a generational thing, perhaps. It seems like the youth are just not really interested so much in it. And I'm not going to knock them for it. I mean, maybe it's a big win. They've found there's more fun things to do than have sex. I guess we've evolved that way as a culture. We've been creating more options to amuse yourself and to have fun. Back in the days, there was hardly anything to do. You ever watch an old movie? The boys are like, what are we going to do? They're like, let's go get some girls. Like, it was always like, let's go get some girls. That would be an insane thing to hear now. Right? Like, imagine a group of like young Gen Z boys right now, or Gen Alpha, and they were like, what should we do? And then one of them was like, let's go get some girls. They would like throw a net over that guy, and you would never see him again. Like, this psychopath, what's he talking about? Now, the authors of the study think this issue is particularly pertinent in Japan, and while they couldn't be sure why Japanese adults were having so little sex, the authors did suggest some theories. One was that Japanese people just didn't want to. Oh, so it goes deep. An online survey indicated that 20 to 30% of men aged between 20 and 39 years old said they didn't want to have sex, as well as around 40% of women said they didn't want to have sex. Well, 40% of women said they didn't want to have sex. That's actually not that bad. When I ask random women if they want to have sex, 100% of them say no. The authors of the study in Japan also noted that a demanding work culture of long hours and commutes may make it difficult for young Japanese adults to maintain sexual relationships at all. In Japan, around 30% of men and 15% of women work more than 50 hours per week. All right. Well, I mean, I'm not sure if it's overworked so much. 50 hours doesn't sound that drastic, but maybe it is. Maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. But I mean, clearly they want more sex in their country. They've been complaining about a declining birth rate for a while. I got a suggestion for you though. You want more sex in your country? Just start building some Wendy's parking lots and import as many Florida men as you possibly can find. Hello, my loyal listeners. Thank you for spending some time with me in this episode of Weird AF News. Appreciate it. I'll keep the outro brief so you can get on to your day or other podcasts or whatever it is that you happen to be doing. Hope you're healthy, wealthy, and stealthy. Let's give thanks to someone who sent me a lovely email named John Verdon. He wrote, "This is John from Arkansas City, Kansas. Jonesy, I know now that if anything goes wrong, I'll just start blasting. I'll be blasting, Jonesy. No, seriously. I don't own any firearms. I just don't see the need in them. I just wanted to say, keep up the great work, buddy. I agree. We need a Betty White series." Yes, thank you, John. John's a reasonable fellow. Although you're in Kansas, you're like the only guy in Kansas that doesn't own guns, I think, John. You might want to get some just in case. Just in case. I don't know, it's pretty crazy right now in the U.S., so I hope my podcast can be a welcome distraction for many of you from what's been going on lately, in not just the U.S., but in the world in general. So, but a lot of it's coming from my country, sadly. I apologize on the behalf of my country, those of you who are in another place that is displeased at our actions and it's affecting you where you live. I apologize. I do want to say, though, for the record, most of us are not good people over here. Just please remember that. Like, there's a few of us that are just pure evil. And I mean, you're going to find that anywhere you go, I think. But most of us here in the States, we're lovely people. I promise you. I promise you. And if you come and visit, well, maybe not now, but like come someday and see, we're all right. We really are. I promise you. Okay, well, if you want to email me, it's funnyjones@gmail.com. I'm on Instagram @funnyjones as well. And as always, I have a website, weirdafnews.com. That's where you can go if you would like to support the show by joining the Patreon or buying Jonesy a coffee to show me you love me, show me you care.